Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This week we are discussing about how to loop generic tiles in Dead by Daylight. We will also feature various looping tips to help you understand the concept of looping much more easier. After this, we will showcase a bit of gameplay to see how to chain loops. Due to the head and field rework that is in progress, we will not cover that map in this video. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to press the like button. It's free and it helps me a lot. Also, I have set a personal goal of reaching 1000 subscribers by the end of 2022, so please subscribe to the channel for more Dead by Daylight content. Over 98% of you are not subscribed and I'd love if you join the community. On top of it, please comment down below what video you would like to see next. Without further ado, let's jump straight into the video. Tip number 1. Have the shortest route possible in a loop. Hug walls as tight as possible and try getting the fast vault as much as possible. Tip number 2. Keep an eye on the red stain of the killer. Make a habit of having the red stain of the killer on one side of the screen and where you are going on the other side of the screen. Tip number 3. Pay attention to how the killer acts and respond as quickly as possible. This requires a bit of killer power knowledge and reading their movement. Tip number 4. Always have a plan. This requires a bit of map knowledge in terms of loop spawn. Tip number 5. Know how the killer's power works. Some killers may bet your pallet drop to hit you with their power, while others can shut down loops. Tip number 6. If you get hit, do not waste the 3 seconds of speed boost by dropping pallets or vaulting unless necessary. Move to another tile instead. Tip number 7. When the killer is breaking a pallet, move to another tile. Tip number 8. When the killer is trying to mind game you, do not panic. Try staying calm. Vault a pallet and move to another tile only when it is safe. Tip number 9. The idea of looping is to waste as much time as possible so the rest of the team can do gens. You will eventually go down and that is okay. Tip number 10. If you can lose the killer while looping, it is priceless, since the killer got nothing in return for their invested time. The killer wasted a lot more time essentially doing nothing. 1 second of yours is equivalent to a quarter of the second for the killer. Tip number 11. Avoid going to pallets that are easily mind gameable by the killer and windows that are very hard to get a fast vault out of them. Tip number 12. Smart killers will attempt to cut you off, make you walk into them, drop pallets when unnecessary, etc. You need to read the killer as much as possible. Try not to fall for their traps. Tip number 13. Try to position yourself in a way that makes you gain as much distance as possible when you need to leave the loop. Ideally, you will want to enter the shack through the door that is the furthest from the window, get a fast vault, then go back to the same door while hugging the wall, and do it again 2 more times while the killer is vaulting the window and keeps following you. After the window is blocked, you go through the same door, but instead of going for the window, you go for the pallet and drop it for a stun. Killers will attempt to backpedal the second you're about to vault the window, or moonwalk to prevent you from vaulting the window and walk right into them. Try to make sure that the light doesn't go back as you're about to vault to prevent backpedaling, and try going to the other door to prevent moonwalking. This tile is one of, if not the only tile that is S tier and very powerful. That shack pallet is a god pallet. This means that the killer has to break it. Avoid at all costs dropping the pallet before you see 1 or 2 generators remaining. Go down or take a hit instead of dropping that pallet. It can help you or your teammates later in the game. Ideally, you will want to go to the T wall and get a fast vault, then go right to the L wall and straight for the fast vault, then go right to the T wall and repeat the process 3 times while the killer is vaulting the window or walking on the outer walls. Killers will attempt to lock you on either the T wall or the L wall by walking through the middle. Then, the killer will attempt to backpedal the second you are about to vault the window, or moonwalk to prevent you from vaulting the window and walk right into them. Try to make sure that the light doesn't go back as you are about to vault to prevent backpedaling, and try faking the vault to prevent moonwalking. This style isn't the best in the game, but it works. Ideally, you will want to go through the side with the pallet and towards the window vault, then go back to the side with the pallet while the killer is vaulting the window and following you. Do this 3 times in total, then drop the pallet to get a stun. From my experience, pallet gyms are pretty easy to mind game as the killer can just cut you off by walking to the side that you are going to run to and prevent you from getting a fast vault. I prefer looping just the pallet instead and putting some window vaults from time to time if the killer is bad at the game. This is the worst loop ever. You can easily be mind gamed and the pallet is very unsafe and it is pretty hard to get a fast vault in some cases. Please do not run around this tile unless absolutely necessary and keep the amount of time spent here as small as possible. This is my favorite tile to loop around, especially when the walls are tall and I am versing a nemesis, huntress and trickster. If it is a vehicle pallet loop, it is even better. There are 3 types of pallet loops. The first type has 2 short sides around a pallet where the killer can just walk around and hit you. This is very unsafe and you should drop it, get a stun and run away. The second type has 1 short side and 1 long side. Simply loop around the longer side and drop the pallet when the killer is about to hit you. The last type is the vehicle pallet loop, which works exactly as the loop that has the longer wall. Usually the loop is generated on the survivor's side, but sometimes it fails miserably. This tile is very hard to mind game, but it relies a bit on RNG when it comes to the window, door and breakable wall placement. In a perfect world, there would be a window right in front of the set of stairs that are in the house, and the door next to it will be a breakable wall instead. Ideally, you will want to enter the basement through the garage door, go down the stairs, go behind the stairs that has a pallet, then up the other set of stairs and fast fold the window. You will always have a pallet on either side of the stairs you come from. You want to loop that side when you need to drop the pallet. This again relies on RNG, but you need to enter the house, go up the stairs and fast vault the closest window that allows you to get a fast fall. Go back in when the killer is vaulting the window and repeat the process 2 or 3 times. There is even a pallet you can loop around, so enjoy. To be honest, I don't think I ever looped around the house in Bethlehem without having the window exactly at the end of the stairs. This is a concept based on the rule in regards to having a plan, and it is very hard to explain, so I will show you what I mean by that. Basically, you have a general layout of the map in your mind, including some possible pallets and windows that may or may not exist, and run from tile to tile after you get injured and while the killer is breaking the pallet or reloading. That's it for today. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to press the like button and subscribe to the channel for more Dead by Daylight content. Don't forget to comment down below what video you would like to see next. Thank you for watching and see you next time.